and I'm here with another Michelle and her 3 best friends. This is Jake, and over here is Cookie, and this happy fella is Luke. And we are here today to talk about them and their beautiful story that they have, especially Jake.
Okay. So Jake I had gotten about 7 or 8 years ago. I actually adopted him to be a best friend for Luke. I had Luke for several months. He was a puppy. He just wanted to play all day. I had a very old Jack Russell Terrier at the time who just did nothing but sleep all day. So he just constantly wanted me to play with him. I couldn't keep him occupied, so I decided I have to get him a playmate. So I kept looking at the local shelters. I was checking their websites for dogs. And
what website were you going to?
I was looking on a bunch, but the one where I got him from was Save a Pet. And I kept going back and looking at their website, and he was continually on there for months and months on end. He was there. So I started to get concerned and thought maybe nobody wants to adopt him because of his uniqueness.
Yeah.
So the day I went into the shelter and I asked to see Jake, when I walked in and I said, "Hi, I'm here to see Jake," and the woman said, "Nobody ever comes in and asks to see Jake." And when she said that, I knew I was going to take him. I just thought, oh my God, nobody wants him. I'm going to take him. Nobody wants him. So when they brought him out, he came running up to me. He put his 2 paws on my shoulders, pulled me down, gave me a big hug, a big nose kiss, because that's how he kisses. He kisses with his nose. And later on that day, I had to bring Luke back up to make sure that they got along. They were best friends immediately, and they have been best friends ever since.
That's beautiful.
Luke is from Save a Pet also.
Hi, Luke. And he looks very happy right now.
He is very happy, very content.
And so does Jake.
Yes.
He looks happy as well.
Yes.
So tell me, when you take Jake out, whether it's, for grooming or a walk, and, obviously, how do people react when they see him?
Very interesting how some people react. Let's see, I've taken him for car rides where he's been in the front of the car. I've had people pull up to me and say, "Give that dog water." I have to explain, no, he's missing his jaw. That's why his tongue is hanging out, because people will look at him and misinterpret and think that, he's overheating, he's really hot, and he's doing a really big pant, and that's why his tongue is hanging out.
Well, it's good because sometimes when you're in the car, dogs do stick out their tongue when they're outside in the window.
Very cute to see when he's in the car and he has his head out the window, because he is the quintessential dog with his head out the window, because his tongue is hanging out and just flapping in the breeze. When I walk him, it's interesting because people will react, "You're choking him, you're choking him." Most of the time I'm walking him on a harness. I'm not choking him. I have to explain, no, I'm not choking him. He's actually missing his jaw and his tongue is hanging out. And then once people understand what's going on, they say, "Oh, okay." But usually it's pretty nice because the most people you find are genuinely concerned about the animal and he's not being hurt. I have had a couple people actually be a little mean to him. If you walk him on like a crowded street or whatever, he's a little messy. So if he walks past you and his tongue hits your leg, you're going to get a little wet. I had one lady get very mad at me and started yelling at me and him and pointing at him and making faces. And I just walked away from her. There's no explaining to somebody like that. But otherwise, for the most part, people do like him and they do find him very interesting. And he loves any attention he's going to get from any person, so he eats it up.
And how about for grooming?
I groom him.
Okay,
I put him in the bathtub, and we wash him at home.
Okay.
He's actually pretty good. He's good for baths. He's good for everything. He's just an all-around good dog.
No, he is very good, and he stays so great.
Yeah, he's a great watchdog, right, Jake?
And how about with like toys? Does he, does he chew on bones?
Yes, he can chew on bones. He just holds him in his paw and he just kind of gets it in this part of his mouth and he just kind of like gnaws on it on the side of his mouth. But yeah, he can play with toys. They all have toys. They all run around and play, and he has a couple of toys that he likes a lot. Generally, he likes the ropes a little more, I think, because he can feel that he's chewing on it.
And it's probably good therapy for him, too.
Yeah, right? Little your aggression out, right?
And also about, like, I know you said earlier that he got hit. Is there any, like, fears of the street or cars?
He doesn't have fears of the street. He has a fear of trucks. It's very strange. If you're driving in the car with him and a big truck passes you by, he will actually watch it pass by, growl at it, and bark at it. He hates trucks.
Wow. And is it the noise, you think, or do you think perhaps he got hit by
You know, I never really was able to pay enough attention because I'm usually driving when he does it. But he'll even spot them coming up from behind, and he just watches them go by. He gets all freaked out, and he just barks, and he gets all upset, and he feels much better when they go past.
Is he able to bark? Does he?
Yes, he can bark.
Okay.
He can bark. I don't think I could get him to do it on command to show you, but he definitely barks.
And what other animals do you have here?
Well, right now I only have a cat. He's my cat. And I have 2 birds.
And where did you get the cat?
The cat actually, he's a rescue as well. I do something called trap, neuter, and return. I don't know if you're familiar with feral cat colonies.
Okay.
You ever see the cats?
Where are they located?
Well, they're all over. If you ever see cats that live by dumpsters, like a group of wild cats, those cats are technically wild. And they survive on either if people feed them or if they survive out of the garbage or whatnot. So what a lot of the rescuers like to do is they like to spay and neuter them. So they don't procreate, we don't make any more, we don't make the situation worse. So I'm involved, we call it TNR, trap, neuter, return. So you trap them, you bring them to the vet, you neuter them, then you recuperate them, and you return them to where you got them. So I'll recuperate the feral cats at my house. When I was recuperating my cat, who wasn't my cat at the time, he was skin and bones, he was scratched up, he had bite marks all over him. I actually named him Scar because he had a big scar down his face. And I noticed that he was really friendly. When you recuperate a feral cat, you know it's a feral cat. When you go to the cage, the cat's growling at you, he's hissing, he's spitting. Not Scar. Scar was meowing, trying to headbutt me.
We'll definitely see her later. We'll bring her out.
I'll bring him out, absolutely. And I said, you know what, this cat's not feral. This cat must have either been dumped. I don't really know what the story, but this is not a feral cat. This cat lived with somebody. So I decided, you know what, I can't put him back out there. I have to keep him. So I brought him upstairs. He actually got along with all the dogs, and it turns out he doesn't like other cats. He only likes dogs.
Well, she has a perfect home.
Yes, how unique. The 2 birds I have were left in an abandoned house a couple of years ago. They were left in a cage on the floor, boarded up in a house with 10 cats.
And what kind of birds are they?
They're cockatiels.
Okay.
And I took them, and I had put them in foster, but then the foster couldn't keep them, so then I just took them, so I'm just keeping them. But right now I just have my animals in the house, but usually I've always got a dog foster, some kind of rescue that I have that, you know, I work on getting adopted out. And when I have the dog fosters that come in, when you have a pack of dogs, which is technically what I have, whenever you bring in a new dog, it changes the dynamic of the pack. And Jake happens to be my bouncer. He keeps everybody in line. How interesting is that, being that he's missing his jaw?
Yeah, tell me. Yeah.
He just manages to do it. He'll use his paws sometimes. He'll make other dogs submit, if he sees them getting out of hand. If they start wrestling, it's just like, when you see kids wrestling and they wrestle too much, it gets out of hand. If he sees dogs playing and wrestling and he thinks that it's getting to be a little too much, he'll stop it. He'll break it up.
And tell me, how did he get into his accident? Was he born that way, or was it
From what I heard, I didn't have him at the time. From what I heard, he was hit by a car and left in the street to die. And some good Samaritan picked him up and they brought him to a vet. He had a broken front leg and his jaw was so mangled that they had to remove most of it. He's only got 6 bottom teeth on this side over here. So that's why his tongue hangs out. There's nothing on this side of the mouth to keep it in.
Okay, so it's permanently like that.
Permanently, absolutely. But he's so happy, he doesn't know.
Yeah, he doesn't seem suffering or anything.
No, he's very happy. He doesn't know any different, and he eats just fine.
And so there's teeth.
There's teeth down here. Come here, Jakey. Might be a little hard to see, but they are. Can you open up, buddy? They're right in there. Those are his bottom teeth. Right over there.
So he is able to eat?
Yes. Yes.
And how about like drinking? And
he actually snorkels when he drinks. He has to put his whole face in there, his nose and everything. So when he drinks, he snorkels and water goes flying everywhere.
So he gets a bath at once?
Yeah, he gets a facial bath every time he drinks.
But he looks like he's doing well, otherwise.
Absolutely.
And he's adjusting.
He is a very, very happy dog. This is his life. You know, I don't even know if he remembers what his life was when he had a jaw. So for him, I don't even think it phases him because that's just who he is what you see.
Do you know the age about when it happened?
Oh gosh, I think he was like 6 months old.
Oh,
Maybe
so
a little younger
young.
than 6 months. He was a baby.
So he really had it almost his whole life so far.
Yep. So yeah, he doesn't know any different.